90% of people are using the wrong AI for their workflow, and it's costing them hours every single week. ChatGPT isn't automatically the best anymore. Claude beat it on the MMLU reasoning benchmark. Gemini has access to real-time data that the others don't. The gap between these three isn't small, it's massive, depending on what you're trying to do. And most people have no idea. We're in 2025, and the AI war is no longer about who launched first. It's about who actually performs. Claude 3.5 Sonnet, ChatGPT 4o, and Gemini 1.5 Pro are the three heavyweights right now. Each one has a different superpower and a real weakness. In the next 8 minutes, I'm going to break down 5 critical categories: reasoning, coding, creativity, real-world data, and cost. By the end, you'll know exactly which one to use and when. No fluff, no brand loyalty, just results. Let's start with raw reasoning, the thing that separates a smart AI from a fancy autocomplete. I gave all three the same complex multi-step logic problem, the kind you'd see in a LSAT prep book. ChatGPT 4o got it right, but took a sloppy path to the answer. Gemini reasoned clearly, but made an assumption it never flagged. Claude not only got it right, it told me where the question was ambiguous and offered 2 interpretations. That's not just correct, that's actually intelligent. On the MMLU benchmark, which tests across 57 academic subjects, Claude 3.5 scores around 88.7%. GPT-4o sits at 87.2. Gemini 1.5 Pro hits 85.9. Those numbers sound close, but in practice, the difference compounds fast. The more complex your task, the more those gaps matter. Here's the real-world impact. If you're using AI for research, analysis, legal drafting, or financial modeling, Claude's precision under ambiguity is a genuine edge. It doesn't just answer, it thinks. And for technical professionals in this audience, that distinction is everything. Reasoning is the foundation. Get that right, and everything else builds on it. Now let's talk code, because this is where the audience watching this video actually lives. I ran the same debugging task across all three, a broken Python async function with a race condition buried 3 layers deep. ChatGPT 4o found the bug. Good. But it also rewrote code I didn't ask it to touch. Classic overreach. Gemini spotted the issue, but its fix introduced a new problem with the event loop. Claude identified the race condition, explained why it happens, fixed only what needed fixing, and added a comment so I'd understand it 6 months later. On Human Eval, the industry standard coding benchmark, Claude 3.5 Sonnet scores 92%. GPT-4o is at 90.2. Gemini 1.5 Pro trails at 86.5. But here's what benchmarks don't tell you. Claude has a 200,000 token context window. That means you can paste an entire code base, not just a snippet. You can ask it to refactor across files, find inconsistencies, or document a whole project at once. ChatGPT's context window is solid, but smaller in practice. Gemini matches Claude on window size but stumbles on code coherence across long contexts. Bottom line, for serious software development, Claude is the move. Okay, let's flip it. Creativity, copywriting, long-form content. This is where you might expect ChatGPT to dominate. It's been the default for writers since 2023. But things have changed. I gave all three the same prompt. Write an email cold pitch for a B2B SaaS product, targeting CFOs. Make it sharp, not salesy. ChatGPT's version was clean but generic. Every sentence felt like it came from a marketing template. Gemini added one genuinely clever line about ROI framing, but the rest was forgettable. Claude's version opened with a specific pain point, used restraint where most AI goes verbose, and landed a CTA that felt human. I showed the outputs blind to 3 marketing professionals. All 3 picked Claude's version first. What makes Claude different here is something Anthropic calls constitutional AI. It's trained to be honest and precise, which paradoxically makes it better at persuasion. It doesn't oversell. It also doesn't pad. For YouTube scripts, newsletters, ad copy, or any content where the writing actually has to land, Claude is your best tool right now. That said, ChatGPT with custom GPTs and memory is still powerful for iterative creative workflows where context continuity matters across sessions. Here's where Gemini takes the lead, and it's not subtle. Gemini 1.5 Pro is deeply integrated with Google Search. That means it has access to real-time information by default. No plugins, no workarounds. You ask it about a stock price, a breaking news story, today's weather impact on supply chains, it pulls live data. ChatGPT has Browse with Bing enabled in GPT-4o, which works, but it's slower and sometimes refuses to retrieve sources. Claude, as of mid-2025, still doesn't have native real-time web access in most tiers without third-party integrations. That's a real limitation. So if your use case involves current events, market research, live pricing, or anything time-sensitive, Gemini wins. Full stop. There's also the Google ecosystem angle. Gemini integrates natively with Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, and Google Meet. If your team lives in Google Workspace, Gemini isn't just an AI, it's an embedded co-pilot. It can summarize your emails, draft replies based on your history, and pull context from your Drive automatically. Microsoft's Copilot does this for Office 365 users, but for the Google stack, Gemini is the obvious choice. Real-time data plus deep ecosystem integration is a moat that neither Claude nor ChatGPT has fully matched yet. Let's talk about what this actually costs you, because smart AI use is also about ROI. ChatGPT Plus is $20 a month and gives you GPT-4o access, plus DALL-E, voice mode, memory, and a growing library of custom GPTs. For most users, that's a lot of value in one subscription. Claude Pro is also $20 a month. You get Claude 3.5 Sonnet, higher usage limits than the free tier, and priority access. No image generation built in, but the quality of text output is consistently higher than GPT-4o on most tasks. Gemini Advanced, Google's paid tier, is also $20 through Google One. It bundles 2 terabytes of drive storage. If you're paying for Google storage anyway, Gemini Advanced is essentially free. Now speed. GPT-4o is the fastest of the three in real-time conversation. Gemini is close. Claude can be slightly slower on very long outputs, though the quality usually justifies the wait. Here's my practical recommendation. Use Claude as your primary thinking and writing engine. Use Gemini when you need live data or Google Workspace integration. Use ChatGPT when you need speed, voice interaction, image generation, or custom GPT workflows. The smartest move in 2025 isn't picking one. It's knowing which tool to grab for which job. Here's the bottom line. Claude wins on reasoning, coding, and writing quality. Gemini wins on real-time data and Google integration. ChatGPT wins on speed, ecosystem, and versatility. None of them is the best at everything, but now you know the map. Stop defaulting to one tool out of habit. Match the AI to the task, and you'll get dramatically better results, starting today. If this was useful, subscribe. I post every week on AI tools that actually work.